I have been feeling really triggered lately. I've been feeling drawn towards certain beliefs and certain practices that I was first introduced to within the framework of the religion that I was brought up in as a child. And I'm realizing that I have a lot of resentment towards the institution of Christianity, and especially the brand that I was taught to believe as truth. Maybe for the last, let's say the last decade, just about, I've been on this journey of trying to define a new relationship with spirituality and figure out who God is and what God is to me as an individual. That's what my book is about. The inspiration for it was going on this journey of trying to rediscover who God is and whether or not I need God in my life. And at this point, I've come to a conclusion. I've accepted that I personally value having a spiritual practice, especially one that is nourishing and specific to me as an individual. Unfortunately, I still have all of this resentment. So I've been really just releasing resentment towards God, the concept of God, the spirit of God as my creator. I have had to let go of fear of punishment, or fear and the fear of rejection because I rejected God. There's that fear that God might reject me. Now that I have a new understanding and a different approach, there's a little bit of guilt and shame that comes along with that. But then there's also a lot of pride. At any point, I along this journey, when I have decided to reaffirm a specific belief that I originally was taught within the frameworks of Christianity and Seventh-day Adventist Church specifically, it has been painful. It has been this rough, tough fight with myself because there's the part, it's like reuniting with an ex or something. It's like there's a part of me that's like, hey, I was always right, or the people who taught me originally were right all along, right? This turns out to be still true for me, even though I couldn't accept the entirety of the religion. This part still makes sense to me. But then there's the other part of me that's like, yeah, no, fuck that. We're not going backwards. Like that belief, that practice, we had our opportunity to do that, but it was forced upon us. Do we really want to accept it again? Do we really want to adopt it again? And I'm using we because I be talking to myself. It's like, it's just me. It's just one voice. Anyways, that has been an ongoing struggle and an ongoing path of discovery. There is a lot of truth to be found in any religious path, but my desire to be discerning and to be motivated by the voice of God within me and trusting that spirit above all other voices. It's been hard to do that when that voice has brought me back to things that I had already rejected. Just to give an example, forgiveness is a key principle. It's important. I believe that when we are wronged, allowing ourselves to forgive another person opens up a level of compassion for that person and for ourselves that we would not be able to access otherwise. It's like you have to acknowledge that this other human being is equal to you. And even though they have done something wrong to you, in order to acknowledge that equality, in order to acknowledge that they are not opposed to you, but they are a reflection of you, you have to acknowledge that whatever exists in them is also present somewhere within you. Because I believe that we are all connected, that we all come from the same source, that we all have one creator. I can't hold a grudge against somebody else without also holding a grudge against a part of myself. So by being at war with another person for something that they did to hurt me, I must inevitably disconnect myself from that part that exists within me. The part of me that is capable of doing something comparable is being suppressed and denied rather than acknowledged and forgiven and healed ultimately. So that's just my own personal belief and my reflection on what the value of forgiveness is. And the first introduction that I had to the concept of forgiveness as something that is important and essential comes from the Bible and my interactions with Christianity and the concept of Christ's forgiveness of humankind, that his forgiveness is unending and boundless, and it doesn't matter what somebody does to you, you always extend them that level of forgiveness because that's what Jesus would do. It was very hard for me to come back around to this idea that I should value forgiveness still after having let go of the idea that Jesus is my Lord and Savior. That was hard. I'm still, going through that process of releasing resentment that I've had because I was so hurt by essentially people who perpetuated concepts that forced me to disempower and devalue myself. Devaluation, dehumanization, disenfranchisement of my people historically, and of me as an individual in a spiritual and conceptual way. It's like recognizing that you've been abused all this time and then learning that your abuser was right about you in some way. It takes a lot of emotional work to let go of that pride and let go of the resentment and to really heal from that hurt in order to accept that, yes, this is a belief that I had that is tied to this experience that was damaging, but the belief itself is not the problem. So I just wanted to come through and share that and ask if anyone else has had that experience of realizing this, that you may have found something that feels true to you, but it's hard to accept it once you've rejected, the religion that it is related to. And that could be anything, like a practice, like meditation or prayer, certain crystals or like herbs and things. Everybody has different religious experiences, and it's not just about Christianity. So I'm really curious to know, what was it that you had to redefine your relationship with? And how did you go about that healing? For me, like I said, the healing is ongoing, but a big part of it is simply acknowledging that the pain is there and that the pain is real, and that the pain and the emotional experience of that hurt does not negate what is logically and objectively true. I have to still accept that which resonates as truth within me. It's taken a lot of meditating. I do a lot of journaling. I do pray. I release my concerns to a higher power and extend a measure of trust that the more I do this work and the more I continue to intentionally, move towards a path of healing, the more that healing will manifest itself in my life. And like I said, I would love to know what you do, what you've done, and what your experience is. Thanks for listening.